Hello, it is Creature. Allow me to pose to you a question, a scenario, if you will. Exploration and discovery is in our blood as humans. It's in our very nature to explore the vastness of the earth and to build civilizations. If you were to find a new land, undiscovered and seemingly uninhabited, would it not behoove you as a human to see what lies just beyond your sight? To find new and fantastical creatures that come directly from the realm of myth? I say it is up to us to show these monsters that it was man who was made in God's image with the utmost violence. Because what is science without brutalizing the megafauna of a newly discovered land? And remember, the difference between science and screwing around is writing down what happens. Monster Hunter Wilds is a game in the Monster Hunter series, which is a series that I honestly have not put too much time into, but it has been on my radar for the last few years, seeing things like and
weapon that requires more prep work to get good.
And the occasional. And while I did play a little bit of Monster Hunter World when it came out, other things caught my attention during this time. Monster Hunter Wilds, however, was hyped to high hell for various reasons. And we know what you're doing, Capcom. The game has set me up with a charge blade whenever I first started, which I was later told was one of the more complicated and combo-focused weapons in the game. And while it was a bit annoying to use at first, once I got the hang of it, was so much fun. So, without further ado, welcome to Monster Hunter Wilds. The story in this game focuses predominantly around this kid, Nata, who comes from an area beyond the sands that was previously thought to be completely uninhabited. So naturally, we as Americans must invade the Middle East. We as the guild members must get a bunch of land ships from our boy Prince and Emperor Karl Franz and then beeline it to Araby in the Southlands. From here, we meet a tribe, save their people, get some chocobos, and then the game can actually start. The villagers of the Wensong village help us get situated with how this land operates. Effectively, the entire region goes through rapid cycles of plenty and fallow, where the climate rapidly changes, usually heralded by the apex predator coming out of their lairs and roaming around, followed by apocalyptic storms. Our jobs are very simple. 1. Get Nata home. 2. Be the only male role model he has for the duration of this expedition. 3. Figure out what the hell is going on to cause these rapid climate changes in the region. And 4. Slay the White Wraith. I'm not going to go into too much of the story of this game. Overall, it's pretty decent, but to be completely honest with you, I'm not trying to have another because this game does kind of go full. And if I tell you everything, then I rob you of being able to experience them. Also, I don't really want to go down another brain rot lore rabbit hole. I don't have the strength for it right now. Anyway, you should 100% play this game all the way through. Now, on screen, you will be seeing some combat footage, but beyond that, the different intricacies of how these creatures work within a natural ecosystem of this region is actually pretty interesting. So I'm not really going to be talking about any of the general story points or plot progression too much in this video. I feel that it is my job to show you and explain to you how it feels to play Monster Hunter, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little disappointed that it's taken me this long to actually play a Monster Hunter game. Overall, gameplay can be described as follows. Step 1, go to a new area. Step 2, do some quests. Step 3, brutalize all of the natural wildlife and harvest their resources. Step 4, make new armor and weapons. And then finally, Step 5, kill the apex predator and move to the next area. It's all pretty simple. Monster Hunter is a game where you hunt monsters. No fucking shit. The game looks amazing but personally, I just like beating the shit out of big monsters. And while I don't really have any particular spot to talk about this, I know that some of you may be a little perturbed when it comes to the little cat friends that you have. I too thought that this was just some Eastern Moonrune bullshit, but in all honesty, Little Jim is a real one. Your Palico is going to be saving your asses more times than not, and I mean, these dudes are quite literally swinging at the exact same shit that you are, and they are quite literally a quarter of your size. So I got a lot of respect for the Palico for the sheer ballsiness that they have. They also seem to act as the main logistics core for the entire guild. So, hell yeah, little cat dudes. I should also mention that one of the core staples of any Monster Hunter game is cooking. Cooking and eating the correct food and having a balanced 3 square meals a day is going to be extremely important in this game. And the devs spared absolutely no expense in making all of the food in this game, and also from what I hear in previous games, look absolutely delectable. However, I can speak from experience by saying that don't always try the recipes that you come up with in Monster Hunter in real life, because while a steak and an egg sounds pretty good, glazing it with honey is a really strange taste in real life. I'm not gonna say that it's bad, I'm gonna say that it's odd. And nothing shouts Monster Hunter multiplayer more than cooking up a nice little meal with your Palico while your friends are getting absolutely fucked into the dirt by one of the in-game bosses. The game is very good, and I feel like there's only so much eloquence that I can put behind the idea that effectively boils down to kill big monster, harvest big monster, make a new shirt out of his skin. Each of the areas in this game truly does feel unique, and I can really appreciate the different variety of areas, from sprawling savannas with craggy rock cliffs filled with caves to lush forests with beautiful waterfalls and lots of different little water features, magma basins, frozen caves, ancient H.R. Geiger caves filled with genetic abominations. This game's got it all. And while a lot of the game itself is gonna be all, the side quests the other guild members give you allows you the opportunity to just kind of wander around the different regions and enjoy the scenery, assuming you don't get ganked by a massive monster while you are enjoying said scenery. Look, I like fishing, and personally, one of my favorite places to fish is kind of like in the forest just underneath some of the ruins. Also, if you do see a fish, you can just kind of yoink that motherfucker out of the water with the little claw thingy you have on your wrist. But we're not playing web fishing, we're here to kill monsters. There are a lot of different monsters in this game, some small, some large, and we're only really going to be focusing on some of the large ones. These are Giant Angry Frog, Giant Angry Fire Chicken, Arachnophobe's worst nightmare, Giant Pink Shit-Slinging Ape that is the only monster in the game that I know of that actively uses feces as its primary weapon, and I'm about 90% sure that the devs are just fucking with me on this one, Baby Sandworm from Arrakis, The Fur That Hates, Bloated Giant Poison Mosquito, Lala Barina's edgy emo brother, Floating Knife Snake, I genuinely have no idea what the fuck this thing is. Giant Fire Monkey, this one doesn't throw literal shit at you. Spiky Octopus. And for the bosses, we have Lightning Dragon from the Sandlands, Massive Leviathan thing that covers up 90% of my screen whenever I try to fight it, Massive Angry Fire Octopus, Massive Armor-Plated Angry Wiener Dog, exists solely to get bodied by one of the bigger bosses, the box art villain, and the real big bad guy. And while this isn't all of the monsters in the game, it is most of the monsters that you'll be dealing with in the main story. After the main story, there's a lot more. And for the most part, each of these monsters is going to be relatively region specific, but these are going to be the monsters you're predominantly going to be fighting. I should also mention that all of these, if not most of them, do have a higher level alternate form that will show up as you progress the game. So later on, you may fight a Doshugama that is a lot stronger than the ones you found in the Savannah area. Each of the monsters will drop parts, or better yet, you can collect specific parts by targeting different parts of the monster. This is usually little bits that hang off, or usually their tail. And dismembering the monsters will also give you some harder to come by resources. As mentioned previously, these parts can be used to upgrade your weapons and armor. This will allow you to gain some elemental resistances and some traits, which can help you with not dying. And the weapons that you can craft from the monster parts will also have elemental attributes, which will allow you to deal more damage to certain types of monsters. And while the armor is pretty much one size fits all, you just pick the armor with the resistances for whatever you're fighting, weapons are a little bit different. and Monster Hunter has quite a few weapons to choose from. And each of these weapons is going to have its own benefits and drawbacks, and its own purpose for whenever it actually comes to fighting monsters. These weapons are Greatsword, relatively basic but slow attacks that do deal a lot of damage, however it does allow you to have some mobility. Sword and Shield, some would consider this the absolute GOAT. Hammer, pure and unadulterated offense with very little defensive capabilities. However, heavier and slower charged attacks can stun monsters if you hit them in the face. Lance, defensive weapon that does have some Counter-Strike abilities. Switch Axe, an inferior form of the Charge Blade. Insect Glade, fluid and mobile weapon. If you want to dance around the monster like an anime character, this is your weapon. Heavy Blowgun, a heavy semi-automatic crossbow with not a lot of mobility, not a lot of defense, and you're gonna be kinda screwed if the monster closes the distance. Longsword, a sword that is long. Dual blades, 2 swords is better than one, but this one has a built-in goblin mode. Hunting horn, gun lance. Utilize American World War I trench tactic with this fantasy trench broom. Charge blade, my absolute beloved. Light blowgun, a burst fire crossbow with a decent amount of mobility. If you're good at dodging, this is a pretty decent weapon. And then finally, bow. It's a bow. All in all, Monster Hunter is an extremely fun game, and I have been absolutely loving it so far. They've added a lot to this game since it originally came out, and it feels like one of those types of games that just doesn't end. You think you're done with everything, you've killed the final boss, and then there's still more shit to do. All in all, I'm gonna give this game a solid 9 out of 10. It is an extremely good game and I highly recommend that you play it. And that's pretty much going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
You're a perfect person for a guy like me, and your eyes are shiny like you don't see. I wish you could be mine for eternity.